Well, hello people, and welcome back to another episode of City Showcase. This time we are looking at Kycidia by the Titan Atlas. Now, we have watched this city being built over 3 years over in our Discord. It was also built on a MacBook with a trackpad, which honestly makes it all the more impressive. This city has fallen to its node count, so let's honour this absolutely massive build with the City Showcase, shall we? So first of all, just enjoying the bird's eye perspective of this build. It's so well planned, network layering everywhere. Just an absolute pleasure to look around this build. A lot in our Discord have been looking forward to seeing this one showcased, so if you're not in there, please do come and join the Discord link down below. But I think we'll start in this far corner, and then we'll crawl our way over the next hour or so into that CBD. So we'll start here, where we have an ore quarry, which is a very cool elevated highway through the middle. It's a very dramatic setting, isn't it? I really like that. There's also got the ore miner boat out here, not an asset you see super often, that one, is it? And then lots of ore industry here, all very nicely detailed as well. And a very unique setting, I've never seen it carved underneath the highway like that before. Great sight lines, super cool. And be honest, this city is also enormous, by the way. We're on 254,000 population, which is a big CS1 city. We come to a smaller little community over here, using some of the King Leno stuff, which is always a strong favourite, isn't it? Really nice assets, these ones. And something we see across Kycidia is these little construction sites. Now, these are essentially metro station construction assets. They're incredibly cool. And they're actually 3 separate pieces, are they? If we put a copy one with... Move it. Oh no, it's a network. Okay. So they're like drawable networks. That's very, very cool. And we'll see these across the city. It's a pretty fantastic way to just add a bit of personality into a spot, isn't it? Like a metro station under construction. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely wonderful. Nice school campuses that blend into residential around here with lots of nice, authentic suburban parkwork too. Very nice indeed. The river's carved through as we come up to his major airport complex, which is a big old chungus. We got 4 runways here. I'm sure the runway police will be happy with this nice, big beachside runway that looks appropriately sized. But the terminal configurations are great. Look at this. Really nicely laid out taxiways. Great terminal design as well, as it comes off into these kind of concourses. Is that what they're called? I think, if I recall rightly. And then the highway is sinking down off underneath the airport. Where does this emerge? Can we see, is it going under the bay, I wonder? Don't think it is. We'll have to check underground to see where this goes. So coming underground, it just pops out. Oh, the other side of the terminal over here, does it? Yes, it does. It just pops out over here. Next to another cargo airport over here, which is very nicely put together. But a super nice airport. And then look at this, a sunken train line between the 2 runways as well. That's a great bit of infrastructure design, that, isn't it? Really cool. This again goes underground. Can we see where this one goes? Have a little look here. It goes all the way back over here into the port, which we'll get to in a second. But a really cool, nice, well interconnected airport. Really nicely laid out. Big fan of this. Super cool terminal designs. We can see a hotel over here nearby to the airport using some of the canals, which is very cool, and a little parking lot road out the front with some very nice centralization on the bridge there. And then some classic hotel amenities, a little lake, playgrounds for children, swimming pools and whatnot. Nice little complex, that one. Even some of the nature reserve assets down here as well, with a tremendous view over to what is a iconic skyline. Really, isn't it? Super cool. Over here we can move back toward, I think, some industry. There's fields over this way. We've also got some cows and pigs and whatnot, which is very nice. Hay bales. As the train police will be more than happy with Rich. Look at that gradient of action. We like how it kind of kicks out there on its ascent and then comes back into the highway. Very cool. Love that design. More suburbia over here. A little bit of green cities kicking in with amenities and things for people to do. Down this way, a bit more of a town centre with skate parks, roundabouts, more custom housing down here too. Alongside a nice little placement of those parks. Actually, side by side, mirrored is a very nice positioning for those birch parks, isn't it? I really like that, actually. And then this spills into some possibly gentrified industry. We've done more construction sites over here, I think it is, isn't it, with the crane. And then some big old towers too. Rich is a subscription addict. He has a lot of custom towers. Now if we can see what these are. Pleasant Residence. Some nice little fusing of buildings there going on, isn't there? To create a just larger tower block, I suppose. Lots of great suburban detailing, nice little plaza out here with fountains and billboards. Plazas and statues, very, very nice indeed. I really like these fountain assets. I've not come across those before. Well, that's a great view, isn't it? Look at that. Fantastic. Really nice. More custom housing here where we have some wonderful parallel rail action. I'll tell you what we will do. While we aren't talking about public transport is let's check the ridership. We've got 3,000, 2,000 on, so nearly 6,000 a week on these public transport lines. With an 85% traffic flow, which is very tasty indeed. Very nice, Rich. Nicely done. Down here. Great little plaza design out the front of the train station there. This must be a custom train station. Don't remember seeing this one before. Again, that's just got a nice sightline. I can easily be bought off with a wonderful sightline. Very, very nice. Then we arrive at a little church plaza here with lots of vanilla detailing. Good bus network running through. Love these parking roads. Use these all the time in Dacia. Great assets, these ones. Of course, can now be done on the fly with the road builder in CS2 now, of course. But this just pans down here in a nice little commercial high street. It looks like we've got some of the condo assets in here as well. Even created alleyways to cut back onto the street behind. Lovely stuff. Really, really nice, Rich. Expanded school designs, great detailing. Always a nice idea to chuck these vanilla assets on as well. The vanilla prop details onto the assets, I mean. And then European suburbia spills us back out into the countryside in the hills, which we'll get up to eventually. There is a big build over in the hills there. A little switchback nature reserve pathway up here, up to a little telecom tower, which is nice. Again, which has a wonderful viewpoint, doesn't it? Across the city, you can see the airport down there as well. We've got huge vistas across to that skyline. And I'm seeing out of Ace Combat in the sky with the busy airport. So a really nice little tucked away corner of the city with so much detail packed into it, and that's only a fraction of the build here. Heading across the countryside, there's lots of little winding rivers and whatnot with really expanded train infrastructure. Rich is a big fan of his train lines here. Kind of double parallel rails running with a little bit of a, I guess, kind of a half train trumpet. And that spills off toward the airport line again, actually. This must be carrying the cargo train. Yeah, there goes one right now. And then beyond that, we'll kind of stick to the left-hand side of the map here before we head into the centre. We'll check this out here, which is an enormous factory, warehouse and power district, isn't it? Look at these big old tower boys here. Oh, look at that, lots of ruined wall around the highway. I've never seen the ruined walls used like that before. There's a bit of an old highway barrier. Oh, look at that monorail. I hadn't even noticed that. Look at that. Very nice. Again, if there's anything that buys me off and makes me happy, it's network layering. And seeing them all flow and move like that is very, very satisfying, isn't it? I'm assuming these are props, are they? Pashka's industry chimney, 120 meters. Very nice. A cool way to use some towers there to add on to the industrial district. Fused in with the soft paper factory, and then lots of oil and generic industry knocking about here as well. And then we've got some Brooklyn and Queens residential over here as well. A little bit of a local workers space for perhaps the industry over here. Very nice indeed. And then this spills back out into the countryside where we come to a lovely clover stack interchange. This is very nicely done with custom IMT. Always bonus points for that, isn't there? Lovely stuff. Really, really like that. With the chevrons facing the right way as well. The road markings, please. I'll be happy to know. And even all the pillars, they're all aligned. Very nicely done. That's a great interchange. A great flow in it as well. Getting no backups at all there. That's super nicely designed. Very good. This then takes us up off into the mountains, where again we arrive at some really unique interchange spaces here. Although it has to be said, it's all working, isn't it? Really, really cool. And then this big parallel highway here. It's like someone learned how to use the parallel road tool for this one. And then it's got a... what's exactly going on here? We have the key in the middle and then a fence. Okay, so it's a network then, is it? Yeah, okay, they're individual barriers you can place. Very cool. I really love the use of the vanilla key like that against the highway. Really, really nice design. Acts as a slightly different shape, sound, and safety barrier, doesn't it? And this highway snakes all the way up the mountain. Real cool. A switchback roads here. It's super busy as well. There must be something big at the top of this hill. And then all the way back up. And switches back again. Heading off and up into an enormous hilltop lake. That is very cool indeed. Look at this. Big nature reserve designs out here, I'm assuming. Yeah, nature reserve, park life. Lots of cabins along the lake. This is very nice. It's very Scotland, isn't it? Lovely stuff indeed. Love to see that. Little private lake access down the little tiny beach there. Very nice. You can see a bridge over in the distance. This is very cool. One of the content creator bridges. Which then leads us into this hilltop town where we have more fusing, more prop detail in here as well. That a little statue. These are very nice little corner condos, these, aren't they? Lots more detail around here with this police station. Love to see some fencing in play. Has gone so foggy because we're so close to the map edge here. But hospitals and fire stations all very nicely arranged on the main road with football pitches, gyms, and further schools around that. We can see a unit building over here with the introduction of the shopping mall with a bit of pedestrianisation and the cathedral. Lots of nice old red brick vibes around here, which is always inspiring. Got the cathedral in there too. We've also got some commercial, nice use of the financial district stuff here too. Very cute. Real mixed green cities, Brooklyn and Queens, financial districts. It's a whole mixed bag area. This one sat right on top of the hillside with a mega repeated pattern. Let's have a little stroll down here, shall we? With lots and lots of repeated park assets. And this comes all the way up to the statue of Colossus. Sat at the head, which is a fantastic viewpoint, isn't it? Can we get down on the platform here, I wonder? The camera will play fair. That's a pretty spectacular viewpoint, that, isn't it? With the world's largest path network. Heading all the way down. And it's elevated zoo path. Don't you love to see it? That is a monstrous walk, isn't it? But you know what? People are using it. They are using it. There's even a path up here as well. What's it called? Viewpoint even. And this heads all the way back down into another suburb that we'll get to. But look at that. For a bit of infrastructure. The biggest elevated zoo path possibly ever, I think. I've never seen one that big and that continuous. I think Rich holds the current record for largest elevated zoo path, maybe. More commercial designs around here. Great use of the parking lot roads to do some custom parking around. Some of the towers. And then we've also got a castle ruins over here as well, which looks to be doubling as a bit of a graveyard. Really nice design there. Great use of those vanilla ruin assets. More lakes and rock formations make up the rest of this national park on the top of the hill. With another hotel, the Spider asset over here too. Again, that has tremendous views over the entire city from here, right? I think the hilltop views from Cassidia are something to be really enjoyed, aren't they? Really nice work, Rich. Really nice. Another log cabin over here as well. Lots of hillside hotels and more viewpoints. Again, if we can possibly enjoy a view from a balcony, if we can find our way up there. That's about as good as we'll get it, isn't it? But again, what a wonderful place to come and stay, right? Really, really nice design. Fabulous. As it spills down the hill into that suburb, we can also see a monorail here, not monorail, a cable car up here as well, which is always nice to see. The cable car police will be happy. It is in a perfectly straight line, so no awkward bends for the cable cars to swing around. Very cool. We can see a space launch center over in the distance here. I'd love to check this out. Let's head over toward this one. Really nice space launch center. Quite inspired by Orchid Bay, I think I'm okay to say. with the sign and the Sahara thing in here too. But Rich has definitely taken his own spin on it. He's got the other launch asset in here. The CS, whatever this one's called, the little library light thing, Creators Monument, in here as well with the satellite dish and a little bit of office zoning. And a very nice use actually of that Africa monument, which is cool, with a little bit of a rock pool around it as well. Well, the rock fountains rather, and then the space elevator also in here, which is a monstrous tourist drawer, but public transport seems to be keeping up with it here. A very nice little isolated space launch center there, perfect for that little valley, isn't it? Very cool. Again, with more really unique interchange designs knocking about Rich's City, have to be said. That kind of finishes off this corner of the map here, give you kind of a context of where we are. So coming through all these areas here, let's drop back into the denser population bit over this way. We've got a big UK style retail park here, haven't we? We do indeed. Let's have a look what's available. We go to DFS, where even in CS there's a sale on, of course. We've got a Next down here, TK Maxx and Argos. I've never used these UK assets before. I've never done a UK build. What's that? Home bases in here as well. Maplins, Toys R Us, and Odeon as well. Very cool. Right at the head again, another sight line with the monorail behind as well is very nice, isn't it? A Costa. That's really cool. Never seen the Costa asset before. And a Curry's. What else is down here? Cardfirm Warehouse, Boots, B&Q, Halfords, Sports Direct, and a Pets at Home. Very, very cool retail park there. Very UK as well, with all the shops around the edge and massive car parking in the middle. And then we have this very nicely detailed roundabout. Big fan of that, Rich. Looks perfectly measured as well. Very, very tasty. You can notice a bit of a waterfront here that's overgrown with reeds and water flowers and car parking, and a massive Tesco over here too, which is cool. Open 24 hours. So a big shopping centre over here, and then a little bit of King Lelo's Mall action as well, kicking off over here with a combination of two of the outdoor malls together, which is a nice bit of action, that, isn't it? I like that one. Swinging around toward the outside of the map again, we're arriving at more Green Cities Suburbia. That has a really cool key design in the middle. This is very Gold Coast, very Miami, very Phoenix, isn't it? With the water suburb designs, really cool. Then this area spills across the river before a little bit of repeated pattern action kicks back in with lots more very tastefully designed parkland. Love a hedge line pathway. Your usual collection of services on the corner. And before we come a bit more of a high density area, love how it's all kind of framed around this mini dual carriageway that passes through the area too. Lots of repeated asset housing here as well. Love to see use of the vanilla assets as well. With nicely detailed roundabouts, more custom housing over here. I know these aren't custom houses, these are European suburbia, aren't they? With very nicely decorated alleyways behind them. I can see why you've hit the node count, Rich. With the double path with fence lining will kill your nodes a lot quicker. Well, it's worth it, isn't it? It is worth it. A bit of a bus jam here, but I think it's just people waiting to stagger out on the line, isn't it? Nothing too bad there. With more lovely town centre designs with pathways, plazas, and tastefully chosen commercial. And with a bit of high-rise action over here as well. There's one thing I love to see, it's the use of the vanilla assets when playing with mods, rather than always going for custom assets, because I think the vanilla pool, especially if you throw the DLCs in there as well, have so much choice and variation with them. So I'm really happy to see that. That kind of rounds off this suburb as it kind of crosses back into the hills, into that Green Cities area. There's a little hilltop park here too, which I'm guessing will have tremendous views again to a wonderful skyline. You can see a school campus on the waterfront here. Looks pretty nicely arranged, yet use of parks. Parking, gyms, and primary and high schools and whatnot. Really nice little school campus design, that one, isn't it? Big fan of that. And then this throws us out into a big old wide river, which I think cuts through the downtown back into the bay, doesn't it? Yeah, so a real wide waterway here. I can't see the use of ferries, which I guess is a little surprising. I thought it may have... Oh, no, they're down here. Yeah, so there are ferries traversing this enormous waterway through the middle of the city. We'll get to that though, that's downtown Spices, we'll save that for the end. Over here we have a little graveyard design with some nice little condo, I guess kind of more social housing vibes over here, which has been very nicely pulled off. Super cool. Nice little custom assets those, aren't they? This then comes into another neighborhood where we can see an enormous hydroelectric dam. We'll get over to that in a second. Lots of residential out here. He's really packed in the population numbers in this city. And then we have the prison over here, which has been very nicely done. There's police stations out here, offices, gyms, lots of exciting things. And then as we head over through the residential, where we meet the monorail line again, which is super cool. That's a real extensive monorail system, that, isn't it? If we dare to check, I would love to see just exactly how far that runs. So all the way down here from where we found it. All the way through here. God, it's like a full city-wide monorail, isn't it? All the way into the airport. And then it comes back up through here. Where does it end? Damn. It's huge. That's got to be one of the biggest monorail lines I've ever seen. I would love actually to check the ridership on it. Not super busy. I guess with so much public transport, it's all just helping to share the load, isn't it? But really cool, Rich. That's one of the... Actually, what was the line length on that? 50 kilometers. 50 kilometers of monorail. Absolutely mind-blowing. It's really well integrated into the city as well. So super cool. This then takes us up to a massive sewage plant, which is recessed into the ground with rock walls and quays, which is very nice. I really like having that sunken down aesthetic there. That's really cool, that. And then the huge hydroelectric dam, which has had like a custom canal built outside of it as well, which comes into the natural rivers of the map. And then, awesome. I hope this, I would, maybe we can break this at the end. Always love watching the dams flow out. But absolutely fantastic. Spillways as well. Very nice, Rich. Very, very nice. Spillways off of a dam is always a lot of fun, isn't it? And he's done that really nicely as well. That looks super realistic, that, doesn't it? Great use of the canals there, Rich. That's very inspiring. And then big old reservoir up here too. With a wind farm atop the hills right on the edge of the map here, which is nice. Again, more wonderful views across Kycidia. Absolutely love it. It's an honour to showcase this city, everyone. It's a bit of an icon, this city, in the Discord. It's a little bit overwhelming, I think. Just to finally be sat here saying goodbye to it after it's died to the node count, isn't it? Nice dumbbell interchange here with the classic Nubioke interchange, isn't it? I'm not saying it's my design, but I just know it from Nubioke. And that spills us back into more suburbia, where we'll come over to this island in a second once we've had a look at this. A real nice, kind of authentic green belt design around the main rail line here, isn't it? That's super cool, that. But again, another little up and over interchange ramp. This looks like it's been zoned, I'm guessing, due to the mad array of vanilla housing. I'm assuming that's what's going on here, unless Rich really likes these assets. Not really for me, these ones. But we recently got rid of these in Rannoch. This is why I think it's so important we historicalize, you know, because otherwise you end up with just the strangest looking neighborhood, you know, with these vanilla level 5s. It looks zoned to me anyway, so I'm guessing that's what's going on here. Unless Rich really likes the level 5 vanilla housing. Great use of Hearts of Korea on the waterfront as well. Alongside some further assets, mix of, I think it's all Hearts of Korea, this stuff, isn't it, actually? I think it is. But another nice neighborhood that then arrives onto this very interesting looking island, which is a mix of very overgrown, densely forested green cities apartments, which is a really interesting way to use green cities. We can see the metro line through here as well. Very cool. Nice little green cities market. Always love seeing these. That's very nicely designed. Cafes, tables, and of course it's all functional as well because it's got them sat by the roads. And you can see people walking and cycling through the market. Isn't that just the most wholesome little thing? Love the green cities assets, severely underrated. With some of the Asian assets in here too, always a difficult pull off these Pearls of the East uniques. And then some really nice fused green cities, condos and complexes as well. I do like to see that. Very nice. Beyond that, we'll head back over to the mainland before we get to the downtown. There's a bit of a campus over here, which I'm always keen to see. Great placement of the graduation building there, isn't there? Does this have a view of the skyline? Oh, what a place to graduate, right? In the shadows of the city. Very nice. This is a liberal arts asset, of course, really nicely integrated onto the waterfront. And then this spills in here as well. Very nice little campus gardens, campus lake too. Nice dorm developments. We've got a bit of dorm views in here, have we? It looks like we have. And then it's all tiered as well. There's a little quay running through here too. People can get up and down of different layers. He's used the sky bridge on the unique building there. That absolutely gets my approval. I love seeing the sky bridge is respected. And then we come to the front of the campus over here. So it's very layered. There's lots of ups and downs and quays and ramps to get around the campus. Really interesting landscape to use there. And then a nicely respected front with some car parking. I do miss these parking lots here. These are big parking lots, aren't they? Which are really cool, but they're very node intensive. I remember how I had to stop using them in ILOs because I was just chewing through the nodes too quickly. I had to go back to parking lot roads, which are still fine, but yeah, big parking lots are very nice. That ties up the campus before we arrive at more industry from where we were earlier by the dam. And looks like we've got more ore industry over here as well, which is functioning nicely. A bit of storage nearby too. And before we hop over the hills into a larger forestry district, which is really cool. Love seeing the repeated stack of logs in vanilla like that. It's very cool aesthetic, isn't it? And then big tree plantations before you arrive at the major processing centre. And it looks like we've even got some sapling fields up here as well. Did I spot industrial detail in there? We absolutely did. Stacks of plain timber waiting to be either shipped off or processed. Yep, and then we have the smaller sapling fields up on the hill. Very nice indeed. Very tasteful forestry. This is pushing us towards the farming corner of the map, which is where we'll head into next, where there is just so much low-density residential in this city. It's a real... There's one thing we can take, it's a real blanket of population, isn't it? Just proper, organic, authentic sprawl wherever you look here. Super nice. With very nice road hierarchy as well, which has got great traffic flow around this city, which isn't easy to do for a city of this size. But lots of mid-century modern over here, another little town centre configuration with parking, services and commercial. All very nice indeed. A little old people's home over here too. With a really nice little design actually for the old people's home back there. Some little custom gardens for them to enjoy. Bit of a lake access too. Very nice indeed. That's a nice little use of the waterfront there, isn't it? We did arrive at some monstrous fields, which we don't think we're missing anything here. Yeah, we've got another little custom residential park in the middle. Big fan of that. And then over here we have an enormous farmland. Really, really nice. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Lots of parallel rail action heading deep off into the city there. With the monorail side by side too. You could have a race here, couldn't you? Keep racing different assets up and down. So very extravagant network design there. I love seeing that kind of, bundle of arterial systems all together heading off into the city. It's a very cool aesthetic, isn't it? Big fan of that. And then enormous farmland here. There's crops, wildlife, very cool multicoloured fields, which is, that could be a thumbnail in itself, that couldn't it? Very cool. And then these all spill out into flower fields, bit of silage knocking about. So really nice, pretty enormous farm space too. Got some grazing fields over here as well for some of our beef friends. And looks like there's some sheep across the fence as well. So really expanded farm district. This thing is absolutely enormous. So we've got a mix of zoning and industries DLC in here as well. Super cool, really nice farm district. We'll cover these areas as part of the downtown, I think, so let's keep moving around this space here. More residential in and around these monstrous networks. Got all that layering. That's so cool. That's absolutely awesome, that isn't it? As they all break away from each other. They all peel off into different directions. That's great network design from Rich. This feeds, I'm assuming, one of the outside connections, yeah. And then we come into more residential here. which is very nice. We'll spend a bit of time over here in the downtown section, I think. Before we arrive into an absolutely enormous cargo port, this thing is gorgeous. Statue of Industry here. We'll head down this way. There's factories, tons and tons of warehouses, power stations, more building sites which have been prop detailed. There's plenty more of these we'll get to in the city as well. With an elevated train line cutting through the middle of the industry. Isn't that awesome? That looks fantastic. There's even a little bit of vanilla commercial in here as well, which looks like it's been fused together to create a larger tower. And then more construction sites. How fantastic is that? I think I certainly need to bring some more construction site building into my cities. Isn't that just a great addition for an industrial area? See something under development like that. Actually, almost looks like it has like a charred texture to it, doesn't it? Like it's actually been on fire. And then pile decals with trucks. Very, very nice. And then this spills into more heavily repeated industry. Honestly, what is the economy like here? Yeah, we're making decent money, though it goes hugely positive, then negative again, doesn't it? So it's kind of late game CS, really. But I love that. Look at all those frontage networks with these gas cylinders, gas silos up here too, with a huge one up this way as well. That's a really nice asset. With tons of service industry, some rocks here down to a fishing harbour as well with a little bit of sewage. You don't want to drink this, don't want to eat that fish, do you? That's why it's swimming in it. The shipyard is here. Great use of keys up here with lots of great industrial detailing. Tons of stacks of containers. Little bits of kind of, I guess, cement would be in those things, wouldn't it? And I think that I'm happy with that train gradient. I like it. Another ore mining thing there as well. And then lots of container ports with tons and tons of industrial detailing. Love this, Rich. This is absolutely great. Cranes to grab the containers. And then lots of little industrial props out here too. A little bit of a chill space for the industrial workers perhaps. So again, must have a wonderful view to the city from here. Look at that. Look at that. Even with the Enterprise logo in the foreground, that's something special. I think I'll take a screenshot of that as a little bit of a memoir for myself. And then over here we arrive at a tourist ship hub. That spills into some nightlife that borders the port. With hotels and unique buildings and lots of design and niceness around here. Nice little bit of a commercial waterfront, lots of parking. We can see that monorail line again. That is the same one, of course. And then this spills back into residential, where we were earlier, where we see that train line from the airport emerge back up through here as well. And then this all comes back into the suburbia we were looking at earlier. Was there anything on these hills we missed? We do have something over here. There's a spa hotel knocking around. And maybe more nature reserve stuff up here. Yeah, they do. Wonderful views of the bay, and again, the city as a whole. So I always like seeing these little bits of personality tucked away in what is a pretty awkward space to use. You can't really build too much out that way. And then that kind of rounds off the port district there. So as a general idea of where we've explored at the minute, just kind of come all the way around. There's just so much to see, isn't there? It really is. But this train station coming into the downtown as well, cannot wait to get to that. Over here, we'll return back to this island now and start crawling toward that downtown. More park designs over here. This looks to be a zoo, does it? Yes, it does, making use of the hills around the lakes. Really nice cliff work there with the rock assets, actually. That's a very organic kind of rock face, isn't it, in CS? I really like that. A big old zoo here to fill the peninsula with some really nice interchange work. Look at that. Lots of layers switching and passing over each other there. As a bit of an express into the downtown. The frames will hit around here. We do have lots of prop detailing that the PC isn't overly happy with, but we'll try and bear with it at least. Next to this highway, we arrive at a really interesting configuration. So a mass pedestrian area. Let's just take a minute to bask in this, shall we? So with the beach, we've got some of the plazas uniques duplicated up here with some vanilla plazas. The theatre from the vanilla uniques, lots of big open pedestrian space. Look how busy this beachfront is as well. It's It's a great walk down into the city there, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. More big centralization around here. Rich is a great respecter of sightlines. I think it's fair to say. Something I really enjoy. With some really unique plazas and promenades work here. Lots of nice framing, canals running through this area as well with bridges. Lots and lots of fun wall-to-wall zoning. Mixed in with more plazas, which all heads up toward the City Hall unit building, with some really nice fountain gardens next door to that too. Isn't that wonderful? Really, really nice. And then heading into the district again, we arrive at this building. What is this? What is this? This is the Leninsky Avenue. I think this is a Moscow building, isn't it? I think it is. It says Moscow on there, doesn't it? And look at that. Right down into this again. See, it looks like a Russian church, is it? Annunciation Cathedral? Is that how you say that? I think so. Is that how you enunciate it, I suppose? With lots of European zoning in and around it. What a unique little district. With even the back ends of the European buildings also been taken care of as well in most aspects. And little expanded detail and designs around here as well. Absolutely fabulous. So a little bit of a mini European district, a little bit of recolor in action here as well. Recolor goes such a long way, doesn't it? It bends around here to snap back onto the main plaza space. That again, more sight lines to be enjoyed up and down there. So a really, really unique district. A mix of European, pedestrian, Russian assets in there as well. Absolutely awesome. Really, really unique. This over here I recognise from the creative mode live streams, if I'm not mistaken, Rich. I'm assuming this is where you got this from. It's a long time since we did this, wasn't it? The squared off, elevated and embanked pedestrian road with green cities is a very unique aesthetic, isn't it? Lots of rock work here to support his roads as it comes back out into the main bay. More commercial, services and residential complete this part of the map before we arrive at a unit building on the waterfront where there is another campus here actually. Did we miss this bit out? Yeah, we did. There is a campus, another waterfront campus, this time using the city university stuff with the highway cutting through. And then a bit more commercial knocking over there with a couple of unit buildings on the waterfront. Don't these buildings just make great waterfront assets? They're so chunky and important. I really love the campus stuff. I'll say it every time. Always will. Little custom condo complexes here with tennis courts, pathways and playground detailing in the middle. Which takes us up to lots more outer lying residential over here. Some more kind of tower block residences over here. Very Glasgow inspired this looks like. Sort of thing Rich climbs up and down. And then lots more row housing over this way before we merge into some custom condo work over here. Some really nice custom condos on the workshop, isn't there? Rich has got residential down to a T, hasn't he? It's all laid out and it all looks realistic and it's all kind of fitted perfectly into the spaces that his kind of main larger builds occupy. With the highway kind of cut in this neighborhood in two, isn't it? Really cool. It's a great drive down into the city there, isn't it? All the little layers. There's lots like what looks like to be a mosque up on the hill there. Multiple towers off in the distance. The crane. We'll get to those construction sites shortly. And this little area over here with the hillside has some ruined castles and nature reserve on it. Before we do arrive at a wonderful little park monument that has a great view across his entire downtown space. And let's have a little look at that hillside church. It looks like a mosque anyway, I'm assuming it is. So have a little look at the asset. Yeah, After Dark Mosque, it is. And it's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Really, really nice. Great way to respect a hilltop there. With lots of residential packed in again, it's just everywhere, isn't it? You can see why he managed to get to such a high population with just everyone living into all these tucked away little spaces. Down the road here, we arrive at a really nice, unique asset actually. I wonder what this one is, if we can dare to check. Let's have a little look. Beach Resort main building. Very nice. Maybe a modular hotel package that, perhaps. But another little lovely park. Great design there with the flowers and the palms. Really cute. Oh, we even got a monument down here as well with the Eden Project, which is very cool. Always a tough asset to use, this one. Definitely goes better with green cities, I think, in the background there, doesn't it? But again, another real important waterfront monument for the city, isn't it? Very nice. Then heading into another European district down here with tons of little prop works, using of green cities, markets and park life assets on dirt pathways. In and around some really interesting configurations of buildings. There's another massive church over here too, a little bit of content creator bridge, a little kind of tower, European blocks, really interesting road networks too. And more little details tucked in there also. It's a great little fountain, that, isn't it? Really nice little statue. And then there's condos, unit buildings all blended in here. We're starting to get into the high density areas now. Where I said the frames will hit, so just bear with it. Oh, just look at that, a recolored university unique as well. That really changes the vibe, doesn't it? A big old brown structure like that. I also really like the recolor on the University of, or the School of Engineering, I think that one is, isn't it? My campus knowledge serves me correctly. And then we'll hop back over this side of the highway, where we were earlier, because we have one of the coolest builds in the city. Another construction site, but it's so well detailed. These little construction assets are just perfect. He's even gone to the effort of placing sim props around here. There's builders all over this site. Just cranes, construction equipment, cement mixers, even on these little cherry pickers. There's people overseeing the construction site up there. Piles, rubble, eateries, little food trucks for workers queuing up to get their lunch on site. Just really cool. We've got more of those metro station construction sites as well. Isn't that just fantastic? All completed with a very Dark Souls-esque cathedral. What is this? Can we have a little look? The Salt Lake City Temple. Very cool. I had no idea Salt Lake City had a temple like that. It's very Ocarina of Time, isn't it? A bit Anno Londo as well in there. And then the stock exchange is over here with a big centralized lake design with lots more pedestrianisation and a great fusing of the financial district assets, which are definitely some of the harder assets to use, especially as they move through their levels, but a little bit of find it and plot the growables goes a long way to help these buildings, isn't it? Really nice. Lots of fused blocks over here to create a bit of a higher density vibe, which I'm always such a fan of. Then we arrive at the Mall of Marbles with a couple of the Africa uniques dotted in here too, with more shopping malls. Before we arrive back on the waterfront where we have this high-speed rail running parallel with the arterial road, and there goes a train. That's a very nice slat line, isn't it? Can we check out where this goes? It's heading back into the rail network we established earlier, wasn't it? The line ends here. So a bit of a commuter line out into his quieter districts there. Very nice indeed. Returning back toward this way, we start to see some more towers knocking around here now. Recolor at play again with some of these lights. Now, I know Rich is a fan of the After Dark lights. And you can see them used to perfection here. Isn't that great? We'll take some more nighttime shots around later on. But you can see his use of all the After Dark lights here across the skyline, isn't it just so cool? Those little pops of colour dotted about, just absolutely wonderful. Regardless, we'll enjoy some nighttime views a little later on. Then we come into lots of big boy towers over here, tons of parking, inner city districts, with an absolutely massive highway cutting right through the middle of it all. So there's a mix here of vanilla towers. I actually think we do have some abandonment happening here as well, but I think that's just garbage collection due to the size of the city. Maybe we do need game anarchy on here to avoid abandonment at the city of this size. But either way, pretend they're not abandoned. And then we have the Financial Districts Plaza set in a really nice kind of tower plaza here, right? Love seeing the skyscrapers building. Such a good content creator about the skyscrapers, isn't it? Really, really needed. And little green belts tucked in around all this. Enormous pedestrianisation too. Real big pedestrian roads cutting through all this office space. So super cool use of a downtown area here. Which carries on around this way into more custom assets. There's a little bit of industry tucked into the city here as well. And then more towers This building is... That looks like the medical university from Cities 2, doesn't it? The research hospital. Doesn't that look a lot like the CS2 Medical University? The one that's in downtown Bourbon for those following Edinburgh. Like, the spitting image of it almost. I wonder if that was what it was inspired by. Must have been. Then lots of park space interwoven along the waterfront here as well, with more buildings as the highway cuts through. And then we'll cross back over the highway down this end. As we arrive into a little lake that cuts through, a bit of a Central Park design here maybe. Having water this close to the towers. And then let's just have a little pan around the downtown and enjoy the scale and the design of this thing. If there's one thing I love, it's a proper chiseled skyline and just this lateral view here. Let's look at that. Great rise and fall in the peak with a big central mall design cutting right through the middle. There's custom ponds in here with the jets, little fountain jets, walkability in concrete space, you love to see that. Planters with trees, lots of park assets. And then, oh, would you look at that? Isn't that fantastic? The Metro Plaza covered by the glass plazas. I'll have to remember that one for a modded build at some point in the future. Isn't that awesome? That's absolutely great. And then, even if you're down here, you kind of look up through the glass and you can just see all these towers. That's a gorgeous building there, isn't it? We'll have to check out what that one is. That's a really nice use of glass plazas there from plazas and promenades, of course. Which all culminates in more really nicely decorated open space. Before we come into a heavy reed pond that eventually finishes off this big central mall design with the business park unique and some fountains looking back down that way. So that whole central mall really just opens up this downtown, doesn't it? Got another construction site tower down here as well. Africa uniques, there's vanilla, there's towers. Let's check out if we can see what some of these are here. So we've got the Few Candy Heights. That's obviously been named after Few Candy. Shout out if you see it, by the way. The Convocation Tower. Chirpy Group Center. Yeah, Rich is a skyscraper subscription addict. There's tons of custom towers around here. But my god, they're very tastefully put together, aren't they? This is the one from Melbourne, I think, isn't it? This one here on the right. And just a skyline to bask in, really. There's not too much I can really say about it. It speaks for itself. It's a really nice blend of custom assets, zoning. The waterfront's been really nicely respected. There's crawls in height. And it's just fabulous. It's really, really nice. There's details in amongst the street level as well. Wonder what the plan was here. Was this supposed to go out, I wonder? But was maybe it's part of the design. Maybe it's a future construction site project maybe, but with the node count gone now. I imagine probably not. And then off the back of these plazas, we arrive at this huge public transport centre with a great statue looking up there to that. Was it the Convocation Tower or something? Look at that. Isn't that great? I really love being sat down in an inner city in CS1. Just absolutely fantastic. There's a little pathway here as well. I could just go up down the streets at the various different sight lines that present themselves. That leaning glass tower there. Isn't that cool? Just awesome. Really, really awesome, Rich. Which then we can turn around and admire this truly wonderful positioning of the glass train station. With a really busy bus hub out here too. Let's see if we can get any ridership numbers from these buildings. Got 646 through this one. 237. What was the Metro Plaza like too? 0. 0 a week. This does not be. No, there's the people there. That has to be a bug somehow, right? Maybe they're not gaining access to it. There is some dimensional tearing. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the glass plazas affecting that. There's no people coming through that. There absolutely should be though. You can see the trains moving around. A bit unusual. But regardless, this is absolutely gorgeous. There's another transport hub over here as well, and I love the view here. Heading down with all these rail lines heading into the city. with the towers behind it is a fantastic approach into a central transport hub, isn't it? I really, really like that. Big fan of that, everyone. Regardless, we can look further afield into some more towers up this way, where we can see those metro lines splitting off across here, where we have a really nice network passing here. There's pedestrian pathways, metro, another pathway as well with roads all interlinking and passing over one another. That's a great bit of network design there, isn't it? Which passes by another construction site. I think we can all agree from today's City Showcase that construction sites are just real nice additions into a city space, aren't they? I'm a huge fan of seeing these across the city. Super, super cool. Let's not leave the downtown just yet. I want to make sure we have seen everything around here. There's lots more residential packed in, of course, in a classic rich style. With some nice vanilla assets, actually. Blocked in as kind of rail-side condos and apartments. I really like that view right down there. It's very cool. Across this way we arrive. Actually, let's head down the beachfront. Actually, let's respect this whole beachfront from where we were earlier. So we'll look at this rock park, which has been really nicely woven around with elevated zoo pathway around some of these rock arches, which is really nice. Careful you don't bump your head on that one. And then this spills into lots more rock work around the beach here, which has again just fantastic views to this skyline, doesn't it? I love that tower there. The Lowers Tower, I guess that's pronounced. Super cool, that one, isn't it? And then this sits all up against the waterfront, which is absolutely wonderful. Beach detail in here as well, love to see it. There's park props, well not props, buildings. More cafes and whatnot, nice place to eat and enjoy. A view of the coast, see the harbour from over here. All this rockland too. And then turn behind you and you're greeted with that skyline again. Heading down, we can see one of the more awkward buildings to use, the Deluxe Hotel. Always a tricky one, this one, but it blends in quite nicely with the skyline, doesn't it? I really like that there. Again, with more elevated rail and lots of action happening in and around here. And then I think that kind of rounds off the downtown, really. I think we've seen everything there is to see here. It's a really tremendous space. A huge round of applause down below, please, for Rich's skyline and downtown space. Super nicely detailed, and it just looks great, doesn't it? This view right here, this might be the thumbnail, potentially. This is a really, really nice shot. It's so nice to finally look around Kycidia's skyline like this. It's an honour, I think, really. Hopping across the river, past those networks we saw earlier, into more high-rise designs, almost looks like they're being built again across the way, doesn't it? Really cool. With a Varsity Sports building over here, lots more uniques, including the Hearts of Korea, kind of twin towers. The, what's it called, this one? The Acro Castle Hotel, that. With the mid-century modern unique, the Arrowhead Park, and another big old pedestrian area here that's just packed with unique buildings. Really cool, lots of swimming pools nearby to the aquarium, and the aquatic centre with trams knocking about here as well. Oh, we're going to get a bit of Kycidia walking pun. You guys going to get the trams? No, it looks like most of them are going to walk, but I'm absolutely happy with that. And again, what a view. What a view to that city centre. Back across this way, we have lots more pedestrianisation with those unit buildings, a really cool configuration with the Christmas tree district over here with a huge embanked rail line passing by. I love the curve that has on it there as it bends around the stadium. Back onto those big kind of arterial bundle networks we were looking at earlier. And then lots of Varsity Sports buildings. Lots of little, like, I'm guessing what are concession stands maybe, kind of beer tents and whatnot in the grounds of the stadium. With more pitches around here. And plenty of detailing to enjoy in the little tucked away corners. More condos. Just this whole area is packed with uniques. We've got more of them over here with, again, more real grand central plaza design. Rich loves this asset, doesn't he? The vanilla garden plaza tile. This one. Whatever it's called. It's not garden tile, that is it? I can't remember. One of the commercial tiles either way. But lots of big, grandiose centralisation going on all the time throughout Kycidia. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Over here, Very, very bright with the Plaza's decals. Always hard to use them, but look how perfectly aligned they are. Looks like someone knows how to use Move It to Line tool there, right? Unless that was done by hand, in which case, very, very nice work, Rich. You have the patience of a saint, my friend. That is a bright old pattern, isn't it? With the world's biggest car park. Absolutely enormous. Passing through here, oh, look at this. Oh, yes. Yes, Rich, you'll have to bear with the frames. There is just so much prop work around here, it does tend to murder it. But all coming out of this pedestrian area, across the bridge, down into this metro station, which is really cool. I love a nice elevated walking network like that. That's really fabulous. Over here, we've got a very unique building indeed. I wonder what this one is, if we can have a little check. Let's have a look here. Galaxy Soho is what it's called. Okay. Never seen that asset before. Don't know what it is. Which is actually part of a larger factory district. The car factory is over here. With the food factory and a bunch of warehouses too to barrel onto that highway again. Before we do arrive at a really nice building, and Rich has a great knowledge of the assets on the workshop. The European Parliament, that is a very, very nice building. I like that one. And then we've got... that's two. I thought that looked a bit different. So it's a software development studio, but it's been duplicated. So it turns it into, I guess, more of a star icon. That's a very clever way of using it. I'm assuming he would have bobbed these off, but I don't have Rich's bob file, so just pretend those car parks aren't there. Well, that's very cool. That's really, really nice, isn't it? Super creative way to use that building. Another recolor of the University of Technology out here. Again, with a super unique building. What is this one? Sorry to keep checking them, but I'm discovering lots of new assets today. It is the RG Pacific La Defense, apparently. But very cool. Just so many intricate and expanded downtown areas. It's a pleasure to look over, really. It's every little corner you look at is packed in with detail. And then this builds us back out into some more high-rises where we were earlier, where we saw all these highways, not highways, railways, break off from one another. And it's just an absolutely monstrous city. There's also this pier down here we've not explored as well. More parking at the front with amusement park assets packed in along the pier. Really nice, cute path designs here as well as it up and overs and snakes into the haunted house. Really creative. And then this all comes to a head with the building here. I'm actually wondering, I was just about to think, how is that connected? But there is a road actually underneath there. Can we see, does that come back out there? I think it probably does, doesn't it? Nice, tricky way actually to get your buildings tethered on the end without actually having a proper road there. Alternatively, I guess you could just run a pedestrian pathway through the middle too. That would also do it. But really cool little peninsula that juts out on its downtown. I did see something over here we hadn't saw over by the Eden Project. Looks to be like a larger castle. That's really cool. So he's got the European buildings in and around a massive castle formation, which is incredibly cool, isn't it? Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. Lots of little details around here. Little vegetable allotments, it looks like, actually. Super cool way to use a castle like that. Kind of a little enclosed castle community, if you like. Which then does spill us back into the major airport complex where we started. And then one final look around with all those after dark lights in effect. They're all across the tops of the towers in the park here as well. I love seeing the after dark lights in use. They're always a nice way to bring a bit of colour into a build. And they're all across Rich's skyline here. Look at that building lit up at night too. Isn't that a fun one? Yeah, the HSBC. And that does complete our look around Kycidia. A really wonderful build, and a shame to see it come to its eventual end. After, of course, it hit its node count. But otherwise, guys, that will do it for today. I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for watching. A massive shout out to all the patrons that make these videos possible, with a special roll call to Louis Adlam, Andrew Perez, and O'Hay Casino. If you'd like to get involved in that, there are podcasts, early access, and previews available on the Patreon. Should you be interested, those are all linked down below. Check out the Instant Gaming page too for great savings on your favourite games that do help support the videos. But a huge round of applause, please, for Rich, or slash the Titan Atlas in this build. Kycidia is a legendary city in our Discord. We've watched it be built essentially just after the COVID pandemic, and now it's finally come to its full fruition. And for all of this to be built on a MacBook with a trackpad makes it all the more impressive for the network work that Rich has done. Maybe we'll be showing another Rich city off in 2 or 3 years. It takes them a long time to get them done, but you can see why. City is absolutely packed with detail. If you would like your city to feature on City Showcase, please do check out the link to the Google form in the video description. Fill out all those fields and your city could very well be in the next episode of City Showcase. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for watching, and thank you again to the Titan Atlas for sending this city in. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.